Hey yo, what's poppin', gang?
Loving my crew.
Oh, we back again, man. Look, bro. So yesterday we did a video. We did a video about T-Pain calling out Drake. And in the beginning of that video, I talked to y'all. I said, you know what, man? I don't think T-Pain really gets a lot of love, a lot of recognition, a lot of flowers for his contribution. And the way I felt like he was speaking to it was almost from the same way that Drake kind of feels how he's perceived in the industry, is like kind of like nobody rocks with him. You know what I'm saying? T-Pain went through a lot, especially with auto-tune, and had the number one op at his neck as far as Jay-Z with death of the auto-tune and all of that. So like I felt like him saying something about it was actually kind of cool in the sense like, hey bro, you said you would gracefully bow out at some point. And then we actually took a look at the clips from the actual interview with him and Yachty, where it kind of seemed like Drake was talking about himself a little bit. Like, so if you guys haven't seen that video, it's still live. Make sure y'all go check that video out before you check this one out. And because there's a lot of context. If we go back and we listen to that interview, it kind of sounds like Drake is talking about himself in the way that people are addicted to the competitive nature of things and being in the spotlight and all of that. So y'all got to check that out. But we are back with another video today from Chigs. Now, Drake has decided to say something back to T-Pain. Now, I have not seen what he said, but if it's in any way negative, I think anytime someone can't criticize you without there being some sort of issue, we have a problem. Sometimes people criticize me in my comments. They say, you pause too much. They say, you talk too much. And I go, you know what? I understand. It is my channel, but I get it. It's not for everybody. You should be able to criticize without feeling an issue immediately. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Drake claps back at T-Pain, calling him out for refusing to retire from music. Let's get into it, man. Shout out to my dog Chigs too. Make sure y'all go ahead, sub up to Chigs as well. If you guys haven't done it already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow you on all my socials, all that good stuff. Let's get into it.
YouTube, Chigs.
I wonder
You know what to do, Chigs.
Salute to Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth, appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
The boy Drizzy Drake is fed up with everybody criticizing him and his career. Now, if you're Drake, it's hard not to feel like an outsider in hip-hop right now. With what Kendrick did to you...
I mean, listen, I'm sorry. But T-Pain is the perfect person to be able to say, the man's career heights are not the same as other people. Like, bro literally was everywhere at one point. So, and he, like I said in yesterday's video, man, he worked with his mentor. Come on, bro. Like, oh God. All right.
last year with Not Like Us, and watching a lot of artists that you helped pretty much go against you, at the very least, you have to be on edge. Now, T-Pain was on a podcast called the Crash Dummies Podcast, and he made a very interesting statement about Drake.
The one thing I learned from Drake, and here's the crazy thing, one thing I learned from Drake, but one thing he hasn't followed his own words. Mm-hmm. Drake said, I want to be one of them people that gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. Yeah. I have ever since said,
You really
thank y'all.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it. It's like, bro, it's your own words. No one is making that up for you, right? Excuse me. No one is making that up. Nobody is putting these words in your mouth. These are your own words. So if they're your own words, bro, like, you can't be mad that somebody's saying, hey, bro, didn't you say that? Like, didn't you say this? That's why people are saying what they're saying.
y'all. I'll see y'all when I drop. Don't worry about it. I'll just drop something.
Yeah.
Let me know if you heard it.
Yeah.
Drake is like, no, listen. Okay, I got another one. Hold on, check this out. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that one? Okay, real quick. Just one more. Let me try one more. And then he's the person that he said, you know, he didn't want to be. Mm-hmm. And I learned that from him. Like when he said that, I want to gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. I was like, you know what? tired. I'm out this bitch.
It's just live shows now.
I'm out this motherfucker. I'm not trying to impress y'all niggas. Y'all niggas don't give a fuck if I live or die.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I keep trying to impress y'all niggas?
Question that a lot of these
But that's somebody who's had time to self-reflect, and he's hit the bottom. That's what I keep referring to yesterday's video, because he's hit the bottom. So he's had time to reflect. He done lost everything. I heard him talk about stories about him being like broke for real, like for real broke. And now he's, you know what I'm saying, kind of maybe back up or a little bit more up. Maybe not to where he was before, but he's back up. And him just not taking his own advice, I just don't think he was ever intended to do that. He's just not that kind of person.
artists gotta ask themselves behind closed doors. When do I shut it down? When do I stop making music? Should I do it on my own terms when I want to? Or is it when you realize that your albums and your music are no longer selling?
I mean, I don't think you should I mean, listen, like Jay-Z has always even been the guy who says, I'll retire and I come back. I still think we're going to get more music from Jay-Z. Like, I don't ever think like he's just done. Like, I do think you should take the cues as an artist. You should probably take the cues and say, you know what? Maybe they're not rocking with my, and you could give it a try or two, or maybe switch up the direction a little bit. Maybe if you were in this direction, maybe switch it up and see if they're looking for something like that. But if they just not checking for you before you get forcefully removed, you should just take the hints. You should just take the notes and know, like, I can't, listen, they don't want this from me. You can't push it on people because they don't want it. So I just think, but there's a piece of self-reflection there, and you being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm not God's gift to music. I'm just not. They gonna tell me if they like it or not. But when you've had the machine behind you for so long, pause. When you've had the machine pushing your success for so long, they hide all of that. There's smoke and mirrors there. When the machine has been doing the work and it hasn't been you, you get a false sense of reality. Come on, bro.
Watching an artist go from selling 100K plus to now barely selling 10K plus is a sign. No matter how much you love making music, at some point, every artist has to have this conversation with themselves. And it's always interesting watching artists make that transition. We saw Joe Budden go from making music to podcasting, which he's now dominating as a podcaster. Now, Drake was not feeling those comments by T-Pain. He responded back on Instagram saying, "This guy always had resentment for me. You can hear it every time he speaks on my name," which then prompted fans to go digging.
Okay, so now I want to hear it. Now, okay, so I don't know every situation where T-Pain has spoke on him. In this particular situation, I'm not buying that resentment shit. Like, I'm not, that is facts, bro. You said what you said, and now I'm just holding you to what you said. Let me see if he said anything.
I always tell you guys, the internet does not forget. Drake fans pulled up this article from 2011 that states Drake holds up T-Pain's Revolver album. T-Pain is quoted in the article saying, "I know y'all waiting on the album, but the last thing I need is a verse from Drake and the album is complete. So find Drake and tell him to hurry the hell up and finish the verse." Drake fans also pulled up this article from earlier this year where T-Pain says Drake's album with Party
Wait, where's the resentment? If you want to know what's delaying T-Pain's album Revolver, ask Drake. The Auto-Tune King is still waiting on Drizzy to submit a verse before his project can be released. Okay, and that was in 2011, so I would totally understand that. I would totally understand the issue behind, yo, you held up my album, or you didn't give me what I needed for my album, and I either took the L on that or whatever. So I could understand that. I know y'all waiting on the album, but the last thing I need is a verse from Drake, and the album is complete. T-Pain told his anxious Twitter followers, so find Drake and tell him to hurry the hell up and finish the verse. I mean, and then even T-Pain is kind of like he's a joke. Bro could be a comedian. He's a jokester, bro. So this don't even sound like he was being serious in the first place. Resentment?
So find Drake and tell him to hurry the hell up and finish the verse. Drake fans also pulled up this article from earlier this year where T-Pain says Drake's album with Party Next Door sounds like leftovers.
All these trash songs that I recorded, I listen to them all the time. And I So here's my thing. I feel like he recorded a bunch of shit. In order to keep Party around, you can take 10, 15 of these songs, put a verse on the big Party. That's our album, bro. The songs are already recorded. The songs are already recorded. These are all the songs that didn't make my previous albums. Go for it, bro. Put verses on these songs.
Is that what resentment sounds like, or is that what truth sounds like? What are we talking about? Resentment or truth? That don't sound like resentment. That's what the album sounded like. Come on, bro. Stop. Man, this victim mentality is crazy, bro. He's always had resentment. There better be something else in here. Because ain't no way you take that as resentment. It's just not possible, bro. It's just not. It doesn't make any sense to call that resentment. Bro is just telling you the truth. And it's not. Here's the shit that be pissing me off. I could see if it was a person who has never done anything, a person who's never made music, maybe a person that's not at the level or has seen the heights that you've seen. You could pull that shit with Joe Budden, right? Drake, you could say that to Joe. Joe, you ain't never did what I did. Now, I'm not saying T-Pain has seen the heights of Drake, but T-Pain, bro, I don't really know how high and how up T-Pain was, nigga. T-Pain was that nigga for a long time. So you can't put him in the category of, shut up. No, T-Pain was that nigga for a minute, bro. When somebody of that caliber is telling you, this is what it sounds like to me. I've written for other people. I've helped other people make. We're not even talking about the shit that he didn't wrote and did for other people, bro. So he's saying it from like, oh, this sounds like some shit that I would have did if I just had an artist that I thought was dope, or that I was kind of like energy vampiring, taking his shit and using it and whatever. I'm gonna keep him around. We're gonna record a whole bunch of shit, and then I'm gonna put a verse on him, and that's gonna be our album. It sound like truth.
Yeah, there's 5 to 7 solo Drake songs that didn't make other albums.
Right, that too.
It's not saying that they're bad.
That too. And then him saying, bro, like, you might have recorded everything you record didn't make. We've never heard everything. We haven't heard everything you've recorded. It's not possible. You got a bunch of throwaways that you said, I'm not gonna use this for my shit, but it's good enough for the Party and the Drake shit. They're not bad. It just ain't good enough for this. Where's the resentment? Somebody let me know.
I'm not saying that they're bad. These are just songs that didn't make albums. Or Party, or the other way around. Or Party came in with an album and was like, hey, Drake, can you put verses on these particular songs?
Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I think Drake has definitely had these conversations behind closed doors. Hey, right now I'm 38 years old. When do I want to stop making music? When do I want to finally hang up my jersey and call it a day? Mm-hmm. Or should I just ignore the hate train and keep going? Drake also has contract and label obligations that he has to fulfill.
Yeah,
so
completely, bro. He can't. No one is telling you to just quit. That's the other thing. I'm not saying that. Now, I know some of y'all might be saying that. Just quit making music. I'm not saying that. Here's where I'm coming from. These are just things that you've said, and you were thinking about bowing out gracefully before the beef happened. So if you had, and I think that's what T-Pain was saying, was if you had have taken your own advice, and even maybe not bow out of the game, but maybe not just choose not to engage in that way, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in now. Basically, you caused your own demise. That's all he's saying. Where Earth 1 and Earth 2, where are people not seeing, there's nothing bad in what he's saying, bro, you could have avoided this. That's all. Nobody's telling Drake to stop making music, bro. Keep making music, but just stop making it about that. Stop making it be about you're the best rapper and you number one. Come on, nigga, stop. You can't
bowing out gracefully might not even be up to him. I don't think Drake is in any rush to retire from music right now. We see guys like Jay-Z, Pusha T, and some of you guys might not like this name, but Jim Jones, still putting out music. Right. So I think Drake definitely has a lot of options here in terms of retirement. Obviously, the man is petty. He's not going to quit after losing a rap battle to Kendrick. Drake knows exactly what that's gonna do to his legacy. Because no matter what you sold, no matter how many hits you had, people are only going to remember you because Kendrick finished you. Listen, man, you guys get in the comments.
No, I agree with that, though. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I said that before, too. I wouldn't quit on an L. I wouldn't quit on an L. No, not if it's something I could come back from and maybe just... Nobody's ever going to forget it. You can't erase history. I mean, shit, they've tried to. But in this sense, you can't erase the history, right? All you can do is show that maybe it didn't hurt me as bad as y'all think it did. But again, we won't know until he drops this album. So I don't know, man. I think that's very interesting, though, because what he sees as resentment, I see as truth. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like I said, follow me at all my socials. I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.